Now, Greg Bach Sr. says he's been following the presidential campaign, and he's struck by how politicians have to watch what they say. He says, as a public leader, he knows about that.
Whether we're on the scene of a house fire or treating a kid with asthma, if you don't like someone, you don't get the opportunity to just say that. You have to treat them with respect and like they're your best friend, and that's part of playing that game. This is really no different.
Is there some dishonesty in that?
No. I don't think there's dishonesty. I just think that in today's climate, you just have to be careful of where you're at, what you're saying.
And he says that applies to leaders in any community.
You know, you think, man, this is a city hall, and we're just a speck on that map. However, that's our speck, and I represent, and have to keep in mind that I'm representing and protecting 30,000 people, which represent that speck.
And that's the voice of Fire Chief Greg Bach from Alton, Illinois. And we've been listening to NPR's Dave Green speaking with him, and that he's clearly aware of the fact that he is a leader in that town.
It certainly is, and you know, Renee, we're not trying to compare anyone's job to being President of the United States in this series, but you know, that night I was struck by how Chief Bach inherited a bad economy when he came into the job. He had people under his command who were risking their lives every day and deals with the press, and as he said, having to stay on message, and having covered the White House for some time. You know, those are challenges that I heard about all the time in that job.
David, thanks very much.
Thank you, Renee.
And you can follow David Green and the NPR team as they travel across America. Our series, Take Me to Your Leader, at npr.org. This is Morning Edition from NPR News. Good morning, it's 8:49 in 10 minutes on WOSU 89.7, classical music with Boyce Lancaster, and the BBC News Hour on WOSU 820.
Feel the calming emotion of the woodwinds or the sweeping intimacy of the streets. Take a moment from a busy day to get lost in the intricate beauty of these classical works weekdays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on WOSU 89.7, NPR News and Classical Music.
And discover more about WOSU Public Media online at WOSU.org. Listen at work, at home, or anywhere in the world via streaming on the web. Through the latest updates from NPR and WOSU News from the convenience of your computer. Listen online at WOSU.org.
The switch to digital TV is coming in February 2009, and you can help others make the transition. When you donate your unneeded converter box coupons to WOSU, you can provide older adults access to the new digital spectrum. To apply for your coupons and learn how to donate them, visit wosu.org/DTV or call 292-9678 for more information.
It's 66 degrees right now in Columbus. Rain showers this morning, mostly cloudy skies throughout the day, a high of 77 degrees. Cloudy skies tonight, showers are possible, a low of 61. Tomorrow, a chance of AM showers, partly sunny skies, a high of 80 degrees. It's 8:51. Good morning.
Organizing the Olympics was a massive logistical challenge. All those athletes, all those countries, all those languages. For commentator Frank DeFord, the show brought to mind a few basic truths about running sports events.
The Olympics reminded me again about the four guiding principles of sports organizations. Number one, it's much easier to run a team sport than an individual sport. Number two, it's much easier to run a domestic sport than an international sport. Number three, any sports organization that has the word federation in its title is probably a mess. And number four, any sports organization where volunteers have a lot of power over the professionals is really, really going to be screwed up. The subset to number four is beware of any sports organization where too many people in authority wear blue blazers The classic best sports organization in all the world is the National Football League. See, it's not only a team sport, but it is completely domestic, all American. It is so American that the NFL game is even called American football. I think it's the only sport in the world that's identified by a country. Nobody says Indonesian badminton or Scottish golf. Even better for the NFL. Hardly anybody else anywhere in the world even plays American football. So there's no federation with lots of volunteers to get in the way of what the NFL wants to do. The commissioner of the NFL, whose name doesn't matter since people in Zell left, has the cushiest job in sport. It's sort of like running General Motors before the Japanese made cars. The most difficult decisions the commissioner of the NFL must make are along the lines of, oh my, what in the world are we going to do about Brett Favre? And how can I keep Jerry Jones happy? And how long do I suspend players who shoot people in nightclubs? By contrast, look at sports like boxing or tennis. They're all individuals in different countries, so nobody can ever take charge. Tennis is so confusing that it runs about 64 weeks a year. Tennis and boxing also have so many competing agencies that they're all just identified by their initials, so nobody even knows who anybody is. We have the ITF and the WBC and the WTA and the WBA and the ATP and the WBF. American professional football has a commissioner. Team sports in all countries are invariably placed under more scrutiny because fans are so loyal to their teams, and thus they force management to try and keep things on the up and up. But the more spread out a sports organization, the more diffuse its charge, and the more individuals rather than teams are competing, the more inefficiency, and also the more opportunity for chicanery. Do you really think the International Olympic Committee is capable of finding out how old those itty-bitty little Chinese gymnasts really are? Please. But whatever you think about America in the 21st century, the NFL probably works better than anything else in the United States, and maybe even better than who runs the Kremlin.
Commentator Frank DeFord joins us each Wednesday morning. The ruthless and powerful organization that brings him to us is member station WSHU in Fairfield, Connecticut.
To carry off a well-run political convention, one involving thousands of volunteers and hundreds of free bicycles, just add one college math class. Youth Radio reporter Pendarvis Harshaw sent us this story on that equation from Denver.
Standing on the corner of 14th and Stout Street in downtown Denver, there's definitely a chaotic feel. There are tons of people, Secret Service agents, groups of delegates, and this guy.
Can I help you find anything or get anywhere?
It may seem random that Democratic Convention volunteer Brad Lorvik found himself assigned to this corner, but according to Matt Nabity, there's a strategy behind the placement of every single one of the roughly 21,000 volunteers, and he says at the root of it all, there's a mathematical formula.
How do you take people and their availability and assign them tasks and assign them times without abusing them? The list goes on and on, so it's a huge information problem, and there's so much data to go through.
Nabity is pursuing a PhD in applied math at the University of Colorado, where he took a course this past spring, examining 3 practical problems that the convention was bringing to Denver. 1, how to organize thousands of volunteers. 2, how to design a bike sharing system. And 3, how to assign space for various competing events. And to Nabity and his classmates, these problems aren't just quantitative.
I mean, math is more than just computations. It's not just, add, subtract, this line, that line.
He's not joking. The variables in their equations, which you need a math degree to follow, include a range of data collected from prospective volunteers. Brad Lorvik, that energetic volunteer stationed at 14th Street in Stout, was surprised to be asked,
What area of town would you like to work in? What days are you available to work? What skills do you have? Even when it came down to the computer skills, they asked me if I was an Apple person or a PC person.
The math students weren't really expected to predict how many Apple computer lovers might apply, but they were asked to estimate problems like how many total volunteers the convention would need, where the most volunteers would be needed, and when the busiest times might be. This issue of supply and demand came up over and over for the class, but oftentimes they were working with abstract models. Take the bike share problem. Today there are 1,000 shiny donated bikes with lots, helmets, lights, and computers.